a broken wasteland. Come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson and I am your host. This week we have Jason Gardner from the North Carolina wasteland of heavy metal.
Still a wasteland here.
Still a wasteland. I keep saying yours and Elon's and so many other people's posts and everything, and it's still devastating. But this week we have Funeral, Seasons of Mist recording band, fucking Funeral. Let me go to the thing here. From Norway, founded in 1991 by Anders Ek, the only original member still left in the band. If you like Funeral Doom, death metal, gothic doom, I think this will be your band. It's good. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't check them out. I actually don't know this band, so
yeah, I think you would dig it. I mean, if you're into the Funeral Doom and stuff, I think you
not all the Funeral Doom. I have a certain tempo I can't fall underneath. I get bored.
Yeah, if it's like 28 beats.
Oh my god, yeah. There's a band called Harp I saw a long time ago from New Orleans. I think they were on Phil's Housecore Records label. They played with one of his bands. I don't remember which one it was, dude. It was the slowest fucking set I've ever fucking sat through, man. I was like, Jesus Christ, guys! Like, let's throw a ride hit in between this fucking space. I mean, come on, you know. It was annoyingly slow. Like,
I totally get that, and I love some like real slow doom from here and there, you know. But I agree, there has to be a tempo barrier at some point where it's
almost like a noise gate, you know. It's like you gotta stay a certain tempo, like no lower than like 70, you know. I can't do it.
Now, do you like doom duos, like where it's just like a guitar player that plays like a baritone and a drummer, or a bass player and a drummer?
Yeah, man. There's a band out of South Carolina called Coffin Torture that's like that. They're fucking intense, dude. Like, yeah, I can get down with it if it's done well. I mean, obviously my favorite is 4 to 5 piece band, 3 piece too, you know, but 4 to 5 seems to be the perfect stage presence because there's a lot going on you can watch, you know.
Sure.
But
speaking of, we both have recently went to some tours. A tour that we both went to. You went to the Spartanburg show, Sans King Diamond.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, from what you said versus the night before at the show I went to, and obviously I said last week on the show that I thought it was undersold, and by the time I was recording that monologue, you were seeing Night Demon and Overkill the same the next night, you know, so last Thursday.
It was the first off show on that tour for Overkill and Night Demon. So.
Yeah, the first one. And speaking of which, one coming up in November with Overkill is with the band Traitor and Skulovich. Traitor is Sweet Brian Mickus, his band. He is actually on the road with Overkill, Night Demon, and King Diamond right now. He's doing guitar tech work for both the King and for Overkill.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So I want to give him a shout out. You know, of course, DD's not in the lineup this tour, but I did get a nice DD pick from him doing the tech work, so that was nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
But no, like, I thought my show was undersold, and what was crazy is, so Louisville is kind of like that geographical black hole. It's pretty much 2 to 3 hours to 4 hours from everywhere, 2 to 4. because it's 2 to Cincinnati, 2 to Indianapolis, and then it's 4 to St. Louis and 3 to Nashville, and 1 to Lexington.
Well, Chicago, is that 4 or 5?
It's 5.
5, okay.
5 to Chicago, 6 to Detroit.
Gotcha.
So easily day drivable to a show.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not necessarily on a Wednesday like this show was, but they played at a place that the King played back in 2019 here, and it was the Palace Theater. It's a great, awesome place. I love seeing shows there. It is a seated venue, which ultimately most people kind of shit on already because it is a theater and it has seats. So the action's a little bit different, you know. I've seen Yes there,
right?
Okay, and Yes is that we're gonna sit down and play for you band.
Yeah,
you know, you're gonna sit down and we're gonna perform a show for you.
Yeah.
Even though it's fucking killer music, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think King Diamond does the same deal. It's a show. But when the show is, you know, in a 2,800 seat venue, and I would honestly be willing to say that it was probably less than half sold. And that's putting it generously.
Yeah.
And I really hope that it was just an off night for everybody because it was a Wednesday. But, you know, I went and I saw them and it was a sold out show the last time. And this time it was just like, it was sheer like, oh my gosh. But I don't know if maybe it was overexposure. Because with Cincinnati being 2 hours away, they played that venue, which they also played in 2022 with Merciful Fate.
Right.
And then, but then, you know, they also played Indianapolis this tour. So they played 3 shows within 2 hours of each other.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think that's kind of kills it because like 2 hours isn't really, for a fan, 2 hours isn't really shit to go drive to your favorite band. But if you're playing 3 cities within 2 hours, like, dude, all you gotta do is just wait to either the next day or the next day to see them. And that doesn't, you know, all the people in the middle there have a choice to go to the closest one, and you know, if Louisville's the last of those 3, then everyone in that immediate area probably went and seen one of the other 2 shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I had heard that Cincinnati was really packed, and I had heard that Indy was really packed. So to see that, and
what days of the week? What days of the week were those on? Were they like Saturday, Monday?
One was the one in Indy was the Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
The night before the Louisville show, and the Cincinnati was the Friday before.
So see, yeah, I mean, my thing is like, I know I'm not a tour booker or anything like that, but my philosophy is like, play the small places on weekends, play the bigger cities on weekdays, because you have more people anyway in the bigger cities. Chances are you'll have a good turnout because if they live in a big city, they don't have to drive very far. But the B and C markets like Louisville, Asheville, you know, those need to try to be on Friday, Saturday, or at least Sunday, because, you know, there's not a whole lot to do in those towns. If something comes to town, people will come out, even if it's, yeah. So I mean, like the whole thing, like we're gonna play New York City on Saturday. It's like, dude, you can sell that show out.
So much stuff already.
You can sell that show out on a fucking Monday too. You know, like get the small places the good days to get them capitalizing the most turnout opportunity. You know what I mean? But granted, I'm not a tour booker, and whatever's available is available. I get that too. But I mean, it's like some of these tours just make no sense. It's like, yeah, we're in New York City on Monday, and we're going to be in, you know, Nashville Wednesday. Then we're going to be in Baltimore, Friday. I think, Jesus, all you got to do is just like go straight down and then take a left. You know, I mean, it's like what is this tour routing shit? You know, some of it's just like, it seems like a waste of gas. But
well,
again, I'm not in it, so I don't really know what the ins and outs are. But
sure. And I mean, some of them are just, and that's like where on next week's episode we talk with Tony Dolan from Venom Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he and I have spoken about outside of the episode is, taking what you can get where you can get it. And the unfortunate thing is yeah, you might have this window, but it might be a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to take that gamble, then, it might pay off or it might not. It's all in a matter of what you can swing and where you can swing it. If the stars, it's honestly in the stars alignment these days. If it's gonna happen, it will happen. If it's not gonna happen, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And not to get all like stones and crystals on people or stars and crystals, but yeah, I seriously think that's how a lot of stuff is, where there is a massive deal on that it has to get to the point where, what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And a band like Venom Inc., they do part 1, part 2 tours. They'll do like a spring run, and under that same visa, they'll do a fall run too.
Yeah.
And it might be 20 dates each time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're going to be in your neck of the woods. So I say your neck of the woods, but they're going to be in Atlanta.
It's 4 hours down.
But that's no
traffic. Usually there's traffic, so I mean, yeah. Like if you
I might even come down for that one.
If you just go the shortest distance, it should be 4 hours. But do Atlanta, it's fucking bad right now. There's way too many people who live down there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
has like 8 lanes. It has like 8 lanes of traffic per side, and like 8 lanes doesn't seem like enough, dude.
LA's the same way.
Yeah.
It's all the same. The traffic is all the same, except for where you're at, because there's no roads. And where you're going, you don't need roads.
Well, there is roads. The main roads were okay. Some of the secondary roads aren't there anymore, or being rebuilt. So,
I mean, didn't it flush out part of 40?
Well, yeah, we were isolated for a little while. They weren't letting anybody in. So, yeah, 40 and 26 in Tennessee both got washed away. So the only ways in were 40 east or 40 west from the east side of the state and from the south. Those were the two.
We got off on a tangent here, Jason.
Yeah, what's that?
We started talking about travel on tour and everything, and you never actually explained how you're experiencing Night Demon for the second time this year.
For free, I might add. For
free, you might add.
Thank you, Jarvis.
Thank you, and shout out to Jarvis again. We love him. He's Iron Grip Management, fucking awesome, sweet dude. Check the Instagram and Facebook stories for pictures and all that stuff.
So yeah,
how was your Spartanburg, Tennessee show?
Well, my South Carolina actually. So I've been to that venue. I haven't been to that venue in a while, but it's still basically the same. It's like a warehouse that was converted into a venue. Holds probably like, I would say if they sold the capacity, probably like 350 or so. It's about 125 to 150 there. So it wasn't too crowded. Big outdoor space, so everyone can like go outside in between bands, which is, like gives you some breathing room and stuff. But let me start from the bottom first. So the first band I missed because I worked a little bit later than I anticipated, and didn't get there until in between the first and second band. So the second band is friends of mine it used to be called Neverfall. Now they are Razor Grave, but they're playing the same songs and stuff. They just changed their name. I'll save it for when they're on the podcast because they are coming on. Their album comes out next year, so they want to do it closer. They want to air it closer to the album release. So I told them just whenever. So watched them. Was pretty impressed because I haven't seen them in like a couple years actually. Since I haven't seen them since they opened for Night Demon at Steel and Stone. So that was like 3 or 4 years ago. It seems like 3 years ago, I guess. So yeah, they've come a long way, and then I caught up with them, and I knew a couple other people from here and there that I've played with or seen at shows. And then Night Demon, and then of course I talked to Jarvis before the show. He was at the merch table, No one there really knew Night Demon. It was pretty evident from Jarvis just sitting there and everyone just kind of walking by him, which I thought was like kind of weird because usually it's like everyone's talking to him. So yeah, we caught up, shared some storm damage stories and photos with him.
Sure.
And then it was time to. Then I told him, hey, the band's starting. I'm gonna get out of here. So I'll catch you after your set. Got a unique version of the first song that they played because Armand's guitar fucking cut out about halfway through, so it was pretty much a bass vocal and drum performance for Outsider, which is
nice.
yeah. It was different. And then the rest of the set, I think it was basically the same thing they've been playing on the King Diamond stuff, because it was basically just like Fast and Furious stuff, all classics. Screams in the Night.
I know Louisville was the first.
3 out of the 4 EP. They didn't play Ancient Evil, which I was like, oh, come on, guys, you played all the rest of them, but you didn't play Ancient Evil. It kind of got me because I was hoping for the whole EP. That's my favorite release.
Nice. At my show, that was the first night that they broke out the Chalice.
Yeah, Chalice was on there. Yeah. They only played like 8 songs. I mean,
yeah.
I thought they might play a little bit longer because they had a little bit more free time, but I think it was the exact same set. It was pretty short and right to the point, which was fine,
yes.
But let me say something about Overkill. So, on a cool note, I did fist bump Blitz. I was talking to Armand outside when they were packing up, and he actually walked up the ramp and was just like fist bumping everyone, and I just put my hand out and he hit it. I was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I always got that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was
you should have slipped in the business card and said, "Hey,
I didn't have it." Yeah. We could probably get we could probably hit their management up after they get off tour. But he seems like he'll talk to about anybody. So I see him on a lot of podcasts I never even heard of before. So, but yeah. So about the set though, so they're down Dee and the permanent drummer. Jason Bittner's no longer with them. He's doing like a million other things. So their set was like, I would decided that I was just gonna stay if it was like a changed up set. But dude, it's basically the same set that I've seen like the past few times that I've seen them. I mean, it was like, they played Scourge, off the new one first, and then it was like the classics like Rotten to the Core, Bring Me the Night, Hello from the Gutter, Electric Rattlesnake. That's when I left out Electric Rattlesnake. But I'm looking at the set list right now, and it's basically the same as it's been. Sucks I missed Ironbound. That's my favorite song by them, but it was pretty late in the set. But sure. Yeah, guys, you have 20 albums, man. We can change it up a little bit, especially on these off nights. I understand playing the heavy hitters for the King Diamond one, and you get a shortened set, you're opening.
Yeah, because they only played 45 minutes.
Yeah, but when you're headlining, it's like, man,
I don't even think they played 45. They only played 8 songs at King Diamond.
Well, they played 15 last night. I'm looking at the set list right now. But yeah, it's basically
look at Louisville the night before.
But it's basically
a considerably shorter set.
But it's basically the same I've seen the last 2 times. So yeah, change it up just a little bit, guys. Yeah. So Ironbound, Surgeon, Hello from the Gutter, Scourge, Rotten to the Core, Bring That. Yeah, they played all these plus some last night. So yeah. But yeah, with no Dee, it's like when I saw Anthrax and no Scott E, and I was like, I guess this is fine, but this still kind of sucks,
It's not the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Considering he and Bobby are the only 2 original members.
Exactly, yeah. Like you said, you have fill-in drummer and fill-in bass player. So, after about 6 songs, I headed home because I had to go take my daughter to school anyway. But
hell yeah.
But for a free show, I can't complain. But yeah, Overkill, if anybody's listening, let's change it up, man. 20 albums.
Let me ask you this, because I noticed this. There was a decent amount of people there at the Night Demon table before the show.
Mm-hmm.
But after their set, it was insane for them. Cool. They really, really picked up, I think, a lot of fans here in Louisville.
Yeah.
Now, how was it before? You said that nobody was really over at their table before the show. But what about after their set?
No, dude. No. I don't know. I don't know what it was about that the venue. When they played Outsider first, it was pretty much people just standing there And I agree. Like after the band they followed, like which is like kind of like a Bay Area thrash inspired, and then opening with Outsider, I thought like Outsider was like, I mean, I like the song, don't get me wrong, but like I thought it was a kind of a.
It's a different opener.
I didn't think it was a good choice for that lineup. Like they should have just started with the Screams in the Night. To be honest with you.
Sure.
But I know they have their intro that's like with the light stuff all set up, so I get it. But yeah, Screams in the Night is when people started kind of moving. But yeah, man, like I said, like toward the end, like people just didn't know the band, dude. Like, me and the guy next to me, who I already know from up here, he lives in Rob McGovney country out there, and he knew him because like we've seen him like 3 times each when they came to Asheville. So yeah, I've known him a long time. We knew all the words, but nobody else around, dude. I mean, nobody knew him, and like there wasn't much at the merch table going on after they got done. So
damn,
you can't win them all, but dude, that venue is like mostly like metalcore and butt rock kind of shit. So like the people who go there, like like the regulars, like if it's not like radio like friendly kind of shit, they're really not into it. So can't win them all, but they were still awesome. I had a good time anyway, so I don't care. But yeah, so the set list last night was Outsider, Screams in the Night, Hallowed Ground, Howling Man, Ritual, Chalice, 90. So like I said, they almost played the whole EP 5, 6, and 7. It's like, dude,
when are they going?
We couldn't move Chalice down to number 7 and play Ancient Evil. Yeah, come on, guys.
Oh, come on.
Jarvis is like, oh, you should have just screamed it out. I was like, okay.
Here's something. When are they gonna actually get the neon or LED sigils for the mic stands?
Well, it takes time. I don't know how much they're getting paid on this run, but
still, they should. I mean, I'll make that shit for them. I will make that shit for them.
You should.
I'll find a way to do it, and I'll do it. And you know what? I'll make it work, and it'll fucking be awesome, and it'll be my gift to them.
Yeah.
But no, they've got like the side drops with the fucking smoke that comes out up under their guitars and crotches and shit. But it looks so fucking awesome.
They only had one in operation last night.
Damn.
I got the full show then.
Look at that.
It could be because the stage was like significantly smaller. And maybe it was just gonna be too much fog if both of them went off at the same time, possibly.
Probably.
But just Jarvis's side was working on the fog and stuff.
Well, it sounds like since Armand's guitar went out, it sounds like it was an electrical issue on that side of the stage.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be. I didn't ask him what happened. I was just like catching up, ask him how like the stuff went. And so he was telling me that playing seats, like the tour is fun as shit and really cool, but playing seats is like a real fucking energy kill. Like,
sure.
Yeah, so he was kind of like glad like they got to play like a one-off show with like standing room only. He's like, but like then again, the crowd wasn't really all that, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like being that as a musician is very hard to get into to do the things. So yeah.
I like listening to people. I like listening to people talk to him that never heard him before. Though there's a guy outside who told Armand they sound like Triumph. I was kind of like, I don't know where you
play it on the line.
Yeah, like I don't really know where you got Triumph out of this, but okay, I guess cool. But I was like, I don't hear anything like a Triumph. In this
maybe
shit.
It's like maybe he was expecting them to not waste his time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, so if you can see the off nights on the tour, it's Overkill 19 minutes.
Or even if you
probably
do
local,
just go to any of the shows. Yeah. That's one of the things. That's one of the things that I really liked about my show is you said, oh, I never get to see the weird things that happen or whatever, like somebody's last show. Mm-hmm. Or the
Rob
show
Halford sings for Sabbath, something like that,
What's that?
Or like Rob Halford sings for Sabbath 2 nights or something like that.
Yeah, Rob Halford sings for Sabbath. I was lucky to see Dusty's last show. I saw the show that Richie Faulkner had his aortic aneurysm.
Yeah.
And I had a happenstance where King actually he introduced a song wrong.
Yeah.
And they went out of order for the set.
Yeah.
And in between there, I think he was having an off night. He was cussing a lot on stage.
Really?
He's like, oh yeah, don't even know what the fuck we're doing. You know, and this was before the snafu happened.
Yeah.
But he goes, that just proves that we don't play to backing tracks, because that was supposed to be I and the Witch, but I announced Burn instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like mistakes like that when, especially, I remember seeing him on Mars in Atlanta, like back when it was like the last album that their Frederick was playing on before they got the new guy. But anyway, I remember they played a song, and then like right after they got done, the intro started playing again. Someone fucked up, and they were like, what? So he's like, I guess we're gonna play it again. Did you like it? You know, and then they finally fixed it. But yeah, it's stuff like that. And when Creator told us what the fuck is up on this Friday night, and it was a Saturday. That was also, I never forgot that one too. That was pretty funny because it's funny when it's in no, sorry, it wasn't a Creator. It was a shit Belphegor.
You know, they were another person. They were another person who had a problem with the seated venues with Merciful Fate. And, you know, and I want to say this. I absolutely love music theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where a stage show looks fucking good.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you have fucking a huge ass backdrop, or you've got scrims and a big backdrop like Night Demon has.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, bringing back the retired, the once retired image for the scrims, you know, or you have the fucking 16 fucking guitar cabs on either side like fucking Overkill has. You know, it was like old school thrash.
Well, they didn't have 16 last night, I assure you. It was a much smaller stage than 30.
When I saw them at the Palace, they had the full thing going for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, King has always had an awesome stage where, you know, it's multi-layered, 3 stories high, you know, and with the backdrops, and it is just rad as fuck. And that's what I wish you know, more bands like Night Demon should be playing those places. They should be on tours like that.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I appreciate King for doing.
Yeah, he's actually he seems like one of the few legacy acts that's actually like bringing in like bands that would like actually deserve to be in a spot.
Sure.
Like, you know,
like Midnight and Creator. Both deserve
one
that.
band who like only like brings out like butt rock bands now for some reason because they're afraid it won't be a sellout show unless they can get that one person who likes Evanescence. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like I don't know, man. Like, thank you for the legacy bands to actually like bring out like younger talent to keep it going.
Yeah, and you know, and I think that's awesome with Maiden bringing out the Who this tour.
Yeah, Maiden's another one. Like, I don't understand some of their choices that they have for openers. Like, for every you know, Trivium or something, they'll have like fucking like you know, like Alice Cooper. Which I like Alice Cooper, but like, does he need the help? Yeah.
No, exactly. Well, honestly, Cooper, I've noticed, plays either festivals or mid-size. He plays the Palace when he comes to Louisville.
Yeah, Cooper's fine. I mean, like, I have no problem, but like, he doesn't need help getting big shows. So I'm saying,
sure,
exposure.
Sure.
Speaking of, real quick, before we call off, the Friday night for the Sonic Temple, I want to say that's actually a pretty good main stage set. Except, dude, guys, Slayer's back. Big Four, no. With Exodus, Overkill, and Testament at the bottom? I mean, come on. What the fuck? This is a missed opportunity, as always. These guys just don't fucking get it. Like, you're putting Exodus, Overkill, and Testament, I forgot what order, and then Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, and then Metallica on top. It's like, what the fuck, guys? Like, come on.
Yeah.
There's no Big Four shows. You can make one. They're all active right now.
Dude,
you could have done
this. Know what they could have done?
You know?
They could have absolutely done a Big Four festival where Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth each headlined a day.
I get that. I don't know if Anthrax could really headline a day of a fest that big though, but yeah.
Dude, I mean, they totally could here in Louisville.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, if
it was a Big Four festival like that, and then you put certain other bands underneath them, like you could put your fucking AFI is on one of they're on that Sick New World Fest with Metallica next year. Fucking
another horrible festival name, let me say.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck? What is these
Sick New World, bro?
What is these festival names? Who gets paid to think this shit up, man?
Aftershock. Dude, we're gonna name it after shit wine and no, fucking I don't know.
Maybe somebody will do a festival around here and call it fucking like Hurricane
Steel and Stone.
Hurricane Fest. But yeah, like I said, but like way to go, guys, on this like perfectly missed opportunity to like have
dude, it's all about the fucking dollars. It's all about how many fucking 100,000 people they can rake into the festival grounds.
But it doesn't, dude. If Metallica's on top, it doesn't matter who the fuck is underneath. So why not do it? It's just another fucking perk. You know?
Yeah, but they don't look at it like that because
you didn't see the Big Four when it happened back in like 2015, 18, whatever it was. It's like, well, here's your chance now. Once, like the first one in like how many years? The only one happening for the rest of the year or the next 10 years, even. Like, dude, it was right there for the
Slayer will be back next year, but it was that was the day that they rained out at Louder Than Life.
This is for next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it was right there for the taking, and you didn't fucking make it happen. Like, how can you call yourself music fans if you can't make historical shit?
Because they're
like
not music fans. That's the problem.
Well, no, they portray them. They portray themselves as music fans, but they're not.
No, they don't. They're not music fans. They are business people. And the problem with that is they don't understand they do fucking focus groups and they do surveys, and it's like, how I have never once been asked anything by a survey person outside of like a Walmart. Okay.
Right.
So like, just take, for example, political polls.
What'd you get asked at Walmart, by the way?
Like, it's like
paper or
fucking...
plastic?
Huh?
Paper or plastic? Is that what they asked you?
No. No, like Consumer Cellular, whoever the fuck sets up a booth in the fucking Walmart, changing your fucking long distance. I don't know. Fucking show my age there. Fucking, but like, even with the fucking political fucking polls that they sit there and they say they take, and they're running neck and neck. How the fuck do you really gather that information? You don't. It's bullshit. And the Wimmer people, and if they listen to this, I don't fucking care. You could fucking send me fucking a C&D. I don't fucking care. But it's not music from fans for fans. It's music from business for business. Yeah. And this is going to draw the most fans.
Right.
And yeah, it may be a missed opportunity, but that's because they're not really in touch with the music scene.
Yeah, I know. Because, I mean, next time we have Jarvis on, I'd love to ask him if he's ever been approached by these big U.S. festivals that ever play. So, I mean, like, not like their name isn't out there. Like, it's pretty prominent now. Like, when they're on a tour, it's like, oh, cool, Night Demon's playing. So, yeah, I mean, it's like...
For me, it's like, holy shit, fucking Night Demon's playing, and they're playing in fucking Louisville. Dude, if I had the money, I probably would have went to all three of those shows just so I could have saw Night Demon 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, granted it'd be the same set, but I mean, still, it'd be fun.
I don't care, because there's all little differences. Yeah. I mean, look at what happened at your show.
Yeah, half of it without a guitar. Yeah, that's cool. I'm actually going to ask Jarvis after the tour if he can send me a copy of that show. I know they'll play on their podcast, so they'll have it. If you subscribe to the podcast, you can get it. Maybe I'll do that for a month. I think they get to see on Stone Show also that they played on our equipment. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that would be rad
All
as
right,
fuck.
well, we've rambled on quite a while. We should probably let the band.
Yeah, speaking of death and destruction to the fucking the suits in the music industry, because they all fucking suck balls. Fucking, we're gonna listen to some fucking Funeral here from the latest album, Gospel of Bones. Came out on October 18th of 2024 on Seasons of Mist. Fucking, I love that label. There's so many good fucking releases from Seasons of Mist.
Yeah, fellow Asheville band Bastards on that label, actually.
Absolutely. So we're going to listen to, and I hope you get some time in, because this is a long album. It's 9 songs and it's over an hour.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like
so, hell yeah. This is My Own Grave. right, metalheads. This week I am being joined by Mr. Anders Eck from the band Funeral. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm pretty good. We're working our asses off right now in rehearsing the new album for a possible release party in probably late November, early December in Oslo. So it takes its toll on rehearsing the material.
Sure, it does. Especially when you have a new album coming out. And that's the reason why we're here today is to talk about the new album. Let me go ahead and here I'm kind of caught off guard here. So this is the follow-up to the 2021 Presalient Presalientus in Eternum. I think I got that close to right
And
for
that
being
was
a
pretty close, I think.
for
Yeah,
being a hick from
it means
Indiana.
it means here for eternity.
Sure. Uh, and this one is called Gospel of Bones.
Yes, indeed.
And oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So I am a person who I am obsessive compulsive to the degree of like I try to get into my music, okay? And when I get into it, I have to try and listen to it in its entirety the first time.
Yeah, it's an album. It has I think it was 7 or 8 tracks, but it's a whole. It's circular in a way. And
Sure.
releasing an album is because we want to get the listener to get that experience. Listening to the whole of the album.
Well, yeah, and I think too, whenever a band puts out an album worth of material, it that of course is always the goal. It's not about singles and it's not about hits and it's not about any of that for most people, I think. I think it's about the artistry still. So
I
one of the
totally
things I
agree.
wanted So one of the things I wanted to bring up was okay, so this album is just over an hour in runtime. And when it comes to putting out music today, when with the vinyl resurgence and the cassette resurgence and things like that, and you have, say, an hour's worth of material that is in the doom and black doom and funeral doom aspect where you have longer songs, 7, 8, 9 minutes in some cases.
Yeah.
How does that affect you guys when you go to putting out albums like for the vinyl aspect? Because obviously you're looking into a double disc at this point.
Exactly, and that's it's a question of costs as well, because of course you can't fit that long album into one LP. So it's definitely a double vinyl. So, but fortunately, our label Season of Mist saw the opportunity to probably get the customers to buy those albums because I think the previous album sold quite well, also the vinyl. So they wanted to do it again, and I'm a vinyl freak myself, so that was a bit of a one of the points in the contract that I wanted it to be written in the contract that the album also was to be released on vinyl
Sure.
because the sound is way much better than the digital stuff.
Right. Now, see, and here's the thing. Me being I'm not like an audiophile by any stretch of the word. Like, I'm not like the guy that has to have a vinyl copy of everything that he owns. Okay. I would love to, don't get me wrong. Space is one thing because vinyl takes up a lot of real estate. And honestly, keeping keeping it in like good working order, making sure it doesn't get too hot and warp and stuff like that. But yes, it does sound so much better on vinyl than it would on digital, I'm sure. And even if you have a good monitor setup and a good stereo setup for your digital, do the deed and buy the vinyl because
Yeah,
yeah.
you could you could easily do the A/B test. Play Spotify and play the vinyl at the same time, and sort of shift the channels, and you hear vast change in the sound quality.
Do you still do okay, so here I don't know over there, but you all are in Norway,
Yeah,
correct? Okay. So here in America, we have a thing we called the car test. I don't
yeah,
know.
I know all about the car test.
Okay. So
We
in a place where I didn't know if people drove a lot, because like if you talk to somebody in like London, they're walking or taking the bus to a lot of places. They're not like a lot of them aren't driving their own vehicles. So I don't know if the car test is a thing, but do you have to still do the car test?
Absolutely. I haven't done it for the previous record, but before that, every time we finished the mix, we went out in the car, tested the mix on a crappy car stereo, and if it sounded decent there, we knew we had something going.
Sure.
We did that on all albums.
It's one of the things that is it makes me wonder if like people, I don't know, like Iron Maiden do the car test.
That probably do. I know a lot of musicians that still do that, and it has its value because if it's too much bass or too much treble or whatever, it will wreck your bad car stereo, and you
Sure.
don't want that. You want the sound to sound good on every stereos, right?
Lars testing on a Jensen
Yeah,
on a Jensen car stereo from
yeah,
the late 90s. Let's check it. Let's check the mix here.
yeah,
No, I love that part of music though. I I am, in a day and age where so many people are hyper fixated on getting the results right then, right there, that instant gratification. I find myself as a musician I get impatient when
yeah.
I don't have the mix that like, it's like, come on, man, you said you've been working on this mix. It's been 2 days. What? Come on. Do you ever get that way too?
Yeah, I do, but I just remember that Børge, the guy who mixed both this album and the previous album, he's working like that. When he mixes the stuff, he uses some really old, crappy stereos, speakers, and he uses some really good speakers, and he uses headphones as well, and he goes back and forth between these different stereos and different speakers, so that I don't have to take the car test. So
Sure.
that's why I used the same guy for both this album and the previous album.
For sure. And obviously, I think it's in the music industry, it is great to have people on your team that you can rely on and that you can
Absolutely.
trust that
Yeah.
love the product just as much as you do.
Yeah.
And it seems like he is that guy for you all. So,
Absolutely.
so Funeral has been around for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I think at this point you all are considered legacy status band because
Maybe.
you come from the early 90s, and I've noticed on this is the seventh full length album in roughly 33-4 years, some
Yeah.
ish, by the time this interview airs.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that always is interesting to me is there's a gap, and it seems like a lot of people have this gap in their catalogs. So going from 2000 and 2012 to 2021. There's a 9 year gap between full length albums. That's a big deal. I mean, that 9 years.
Yeah, we are not professionals. This is a hobby, and sometimes life comes in the way. People move, people get kids, a lot of different stuff happens. The lineup breaks up. Even though I'm constantly writing and composing, but yeah, it's just really life that comes in the way,
Sure.
and finding the right guys for the lineup and getting the right record deal, and lots of stuff, lots of logistics, and it's a bit of a
So as
fight.
it is at this point, this is your band.
It's
You
my
are the it's your baby, it's your project. You've
yeah,
been there since the beginning.
yeah,
And so when it comes to say songs, so for example, on the newest album, on Gospel of Bones, you have Aloe's Lullaby,
yeah.
which is a sweet, amazingly beautiful song,
Thank you.
but there's no drums.
Yeah, it's should I put it, sort of an intermezzo,
Sure,
to get a listener to have some kind of a break. It's just it's just strings, just violin and harding fiddle, and
sure.
it's actually a cover song of it's folk music. It's a cover song from a guy called Selvig here in Norway. We got this
Okay.
permission to write our own version of it.
Amazing. See, I hadn't known that. But what is so amazing about listening back to it is in the middle of the album, yes, there is this intermission piece, as you said.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to performing live, will that be on the set to perform live?
No,
No. Well,
no.
right. And I kind of assumed that it would not have been, but have you ever done that before where you do a song live that is completely like say no drums, and are you actually just still sitting there, or do you come back in and are you counting, or you play like acoustic parts, or do you do any of that stuff?
We haven't done it at gigs. We have recorded the last song, Når kisten senkes, a totally acoustic version for a future release after the album release, with only guitars, strings, and vocals.
Interesting.
We might play that live one time or another, but probably not in near future.
Definitely.
Well, I love acoustic music as much as I love metal music. So for me, it was very natural to finally be able to record some of the songs 100% acoustically.
Sure. And it does. It adds the folk aspect back into it
Yeah,
because ultimately I think that's what we're doing as musicians to begin with. Where we are just, we're writing our tales of life and what justice and injustices we see day to day and year to year, whether it be about something that happened 500 plus years ago or something that happened 5 days ago.
yeah. And when I write all the music, I very often write the music on an acoustic guitar.
Sure.
And that's why there are a lot of acoustic guitars on this particular album, more than other albums, I think.
Well,
Also in between the songs.
so one of the cool things that I've thought about this as well, and listening to the album in its entirety, as we had talked about earlier, is there's not a track on it that made me want to completely skip.
Thank you
Nothing
very much.
like that. And I dig that because the way each track starts and the building that they have and the layers, it was like intriguing to listen to what came next,
Yeah, thank you
which
very much.
I
Yeah,
think is a great concept to have.
that was also cool that you say that, because I recorded about 16 songs for the album,
Oh wow.
and I picked out during the 3 years that I used to compose it, and it seems like I picked out the right songs for this album,
Sure.
because I think they fit together very well. It's pretty, you know. It reflects both our history in the writing, and it has some quite new aspects to it that we haven't used before.
Definitely.
And I think the songs are pretty varied as well. So to make an album that's sort of a whole, not different tracks, was the plan all along, I think.
Definitely. And like I said, the flow of the album, it does just that. It flows track to track to track. And what is so wild and interesting is you just said that you had written 16 songs ish.
Yeah,
And so are you going to release the other unreleased songs eventually?
probably.
As
Yeah,
part is
yeah. We are. I'm
Gospel of
working on.
Bones
Yeah, I'm
Part 2?
that might actually happen. We are. I'm constantly working on new material, and this the tracks on the gospel album was written 2, 3, or 4 years ago. And when I record a demo, I always rework and rework it, and refine it so it makes its way to an album. So right now we are working on, I think, 12 demo tracks for our next record.
Now, so one of the interesting things that I think I notice in here, are there lyrics in both English and alternate
Norwegian, yeah, yeah,
Norwegian?
yeah,
I was thinking that there was, but like I also, like I said, I had told Will this, and I had taken a gummy, and it lit me into space, and I was listening to this album, and it was possibly um what I could equate to as a religious experience listening to the album.
thank you very much.
And so no, and I know this sounds like I'm just like completely pandering and being like, oh my gosh, oh my, but no, I seriously mean this because it was such a great album to listen to
Thank you.
that in losing myself in it, in hearing, like I said, the different layers and the different and even with different language, I want to see and hear more, if that makes sense. I would love to see if I'm waiting for a band like yours to make a complete video album.
That would be bloody awesome. You have to ask our label for money, though.
So yeah,
Yeah,
will if anything, we can do the visualizers. So as this is just now coming out in the fall of 24,
yeah.
what do you all have planned going into 25?
As mentioned, we are working pretty hard on new demo tracks. As I said, I think it's 12 tracks that are completely finished instrumentally. I write, you know, I write text all the time, not necessarily lyrics. I write text, and I use the text that sort of fit into a song as
Sure.
song lyrics. I don't necessarily write song lyrics for the music.
Right.
And I write a lot. I'm a literature nerd, and I love to write text as well. So now I'm in the process of finding the right lyrics to the right music, really, and making the writing the strings and the orchestration.
Definitely. So when it comes to that, when you're writing strings and stuff, so that is what are you doing this digitally or are you doing this based like out of like are you actually playing
Oh
something
yeah,
when you're doing
oh
it?
yeah. Always playing. I play the guitar almost every day. Just fucking around, making riffs and melodies, and I always write music on the guitars.
Okay. So when it comes to writing and recording, are you recording everything yourself or are you still having your players record it?
My band records my demos.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a skilled musician. I just have the passion to write music. I don't consider myself as a musician, really. I play the guitars and drums, obviously, but thank God I have members in the band that are way better and more skilled than I am. So the guys in the band,
Interesting.
yeah, the guys in the band get the demo and they record the instruments. And of course, I record the drums myself, though, in
Sure.
in in a
Is that
professional
a
studio.
I wonder like is that a drummer thing? Because I've heard so many drummers say that exact phrase that I quote don't consider myself a musician. I have a passion to write music.
Oh, really?
I've heard
I don't know,
multiple
man.
people, multiple drummers say that.
I started out very early on the guitars. When I was 10, I started playing guitars. And when we started out playing, forming a band when I was like 14, 15, and playing very extreme metal at the time, in the late 80s, early 90s, no one wanted to play drums. And I live in a pretty big city, and no one even listened to metal. So I had to do it myself. And
Sure.
in that time, we sort of played around at the rehearsal place and switched instruments and stuff. And I soon found out I was a much better drummer than a guitar player. So that's why I ended up on the drums.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's the same thing what I did with my guitar playing as well.
Yeah.
As you could see behind me, I keep a guitar on the wall here.
Oh,
I keep other instruments like mandolins and banjos, and they are there too. But I mean, I've always been a bass player.
yeah.
I've been a guitar player in one band, and the band I've been in for 17 years, I've played guitar at two shows for
Oh, I would
because
love to hear that.
no, it was awful. No, it was totally awful playing guitar. You think because of writing the songs on guitar that I would be able to do it. No, it's a completely different animal. I agree with you. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've always been a bass player for that reason. So
Yeah.
so hell yeah. Possibly another new album coming out soon,
Yeah.
along with any
If it's
shows and
up to me, we could release a new album next year, actually.
wow.
But I don't. I have been in touch with the label, and I've actually mentioned it to them, but they have to see the sales and stuff like that. So we'll see
Sure,
what happens. It probably will take a couple of years, but
sure.
the material is, I would say, 80% finished.
Do you get burnout on material when you write, say, like that, and it has to because of the business being slower than your
Yeah,
writing?
yeah. I hate the business side of the band and the music. It's a real drag. My dream is to have a manager that can take care of all that kind of crap. I'm an artist. I sit in my own studio and just play around and having fun, really. The administered side I hate.
Sure. No, I totally get it. Yeah, I am not a fan of the business side really either. I love performing live. I love writing and recording. But when it comes to doing the office work, like the booking of shows and the structured release of an album and a single setting, yeah, I would much rather leave that to somebody else who has a passion for that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because those people know the algorithms and stuff like that today, how to get into the feeds of everybody on social media,
yeah.
which is a big part of the game today.
It has unfortunately become that way. I was probably most active in the 90s. Even prior to the internet. So
Sure.
when everything was flyers and letters and word by mouth, so to speak. So getting used to this modern age, it's a drag. I don't like it at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, the old souls that are in my age group, because I'm in the generation under yours here. So you're 50.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm 41. So you're my brother's age. So which is totally cool because, he got me into he got me into the metal and Masters of the Universe and stuff like that, right? And so what's cool about it is I totally get you, but as you have, you came from the days of snail mail and pen pals and learning about people in other cities by just randomly hooking up with people at a show.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how in this day and age, how has it affected your or impacted your making friends in the music like with in the music business today? How
Uh,
has that changed with the
it's
internet?
very difficult. It's very difficult. I'm hardly on any. Okay, we have a Facebook site which I when I remember it post something interesting. But apart from that, it's very difficult. I think keeping up with those challenges within the music business.
Sure. No, I can totally relate to that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the derailed segment.
Yeah.
Derailed is pretty much the rest of the show. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you some random questions about you as a person. And just know that as you answer them how you would, whether it's music related or not.
Okay.
If you could have a full year off with pay, how would you spend it?
Probably up north in Norway at my parents' vacation house, very close to Lofoten and Narvik, and just writing music every day, all hours every day, and taking trips to the mountains, going on
You know,
hikes, fishing.
ah, you're speaking to me there. That's
Yeah.
awesome stuff. Because okay, so when I unwind at night and I need some chill time and just kind of if I want to have something on in the background and it's not music, what I do is I put on uh cabin build videos.
Yeah.
So, and I love like it's like I could totally do that. I could go and get some land somewhere and clear the brush and start building a small one room cabin if I
Sounds
wanted to.
great, man.
It does. And like with what you just said about taking that time off and going up to the mountains and doing the hike and the fish and just throw building a shed a shed cabin to stay at in there
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
grid.
Yeah.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
totally get it. Yes. Speaking to me as a as that rough metalhead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
uh, what is one thing that people buy that you think is an absolute waste of money?
Oh my God, that's a lot. Where to begin? I would say, you know, buying clothes with some kind of brand, that costs a fortune. Everything. I don't have any understanding of that at all. It's so much. I don't have how should I put it? Um, I'm not a materialist at all. So I don't
Sure.
understand people that buy luxurious cars and blah blah blah. It's I think most of that people buy are crap, really.
No, no, I relate to that to the yes, because materialism of like I totally get possession and like wanting to own albums and stuff like that. And maybe
Yeah,
that's what it is for me as a person. Or parking artwork on my arms and over my body with tattoos, doing the same thing. But maybe to me, it's like, I mean, maybe to them it is that car. I don't get it personally, but yeah, I mean, whoever wants to own a $500,000 Bentley out there, I guess, you could have used it to do better.
and they
But like,
probably and they probably don't own it either. It's probably the bank that own it because they
yeah,
have.
it's a lease, yeah,
Yeah,
because they're not paying it outright.
yeah.
For sure.
I think it's stupid.
Oh, absolutely. How does one find their purpose in life?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think you first of all has to have a passion for something, and when you discover that passion, you should respect it and follow it. For me, it's my purpose in life. So just
Sure.
talking for myself, my passion for music, it's been there since I was a little child. So for me, it gives a lot of meaning to life.
No, I would get that. Yeah. It does add a lot of meaning to mine as well. And to me, I think it's where I just like, for example, the Metal Forge is pretty much my passion. I love
Yeah,
doing this. I love talking to bands all over the world, finding out how you all do things and if it's different than what I do, and then applying that to what I do.
yeah,
Just saying, hey, maybe we could set up this or something, and maybe it'll work. You know, and this person's doing this, and it's a great idea, I think. And what I think's really cool about it too is just having that passion and feeling like, well, what else am I gonna do?
exactly.
Because if I don't do this, I would go crazy, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially
likewise.
after doing it for, say, funeral for 30 plus years
Yeah,
and my soon to be 6 years of doing this. So,
my,
or
my night.
17 years of
Yeah,
overload. Yeah.
and that's why my biggest nightmare in is losing my hearing.
Sure.
So I really take care of my ears,
Absolutely.
especially being a drummer.
For sure. Do you still buy physical copies of media or do you stream?
Oh, both.
Okay.
Mostly physical copies. I'm
Mostly, do you still buy
yeah.
physical movies?
No, I don't. I don't. It's
Ah,
it's
see,
it's
I still do.
oh,
Like, if
that's fucking cool, man. I must admit though that I still have all my VHS cassettes from the 80s and 90s.
nice,
And I
nice.
and I actually still buy cassettes and
Like,
vinyl, of course.
okay.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
play
you said you
cassettes.
were earlier that you were a vinyl fan. So,
Yeah,
so do you, on average, how many pieces is your vinyl collection?
Probably 200, if I would guess.
Okay.
So it's not. I don't use very much money on it, But
Okay.
I've never gotten rid of anything from when I was started to buying albums from the age of 12 or 13. So I have all the albums that I've bought. I've never gotten rid of anything.
See, that's the key right there, is not being able to ever get rid of anything.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's been a few times where I've done that with my movie collection,
yeah.
but I've tried to not do that with my album collection.
Never do that. Speaking as
Yeah,
a true
because you end up
collector,
regretting it.
yeah, as a true collector, you don't get rid of anything, right?
Sure, absolutely. No, you never do. Whether and I mean, everybody knows me here that, I can show you like my microphone here has a Skeletor that's
Yeah.
broken.
Oh, that's cool.
He's missing his legs here, but they're on the desk. I need to get him fixed. And yeah, but he's just hanging out on the mic stand. So
Yeah, I was heavily into He-Man, back in the days in the
sure.
80s.
Oh no, I am for the Horde here. I
Yeah,
have my Hordak tattoo and my Evil
cool.
Lyn on my arm. No. What would be go lavish? Go. You have your appetizer, your entree, and your dessert. What would be your last meal?
I would say probably a large bottle of good cognac, like Chivas Regal. That's a meal,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That would totally be a good meal.
yeah.
Wow.
And I could numb everything.
That would yes. And that's the good thing about cognac is it doesn't it's not a wretched taste either.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I mean the palate of it just is great. Depending on what it is, obviously. Because it's just like whiskey. There's good tasting whiskey and bad tasting
Yep,
whiskey and
yep.
bourbon and such. But yeah, that would be a good one. I think you're the first person that's just went straight up, full bottle, go for it.
Full bottle. Absolutely.
Now, are you actually drinking it out of the glass, or are you just tipping the bottle completely?
I would say both, depending on where I am and who is there, probably.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Totally get you. Uh, Anders, thank you so much. I have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go buy merch, go buy albums, go whenever these people are playing live, go see this band. If it's in your area, if you have to fly to Norway to do it. That's the thing right there. That's the thing in life that would be amazing to have that year off with pay, just flying to wherever to see friends' bands.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing. Say it's like, oh, Anders is playing an Oslo show that's the dedication to the album. Let's go.
You're welcome.
I would do that. Hell
Yeah.
yes. Do you have any shout outs you would like to give to anybody today?
Just want to thank you for the support and and the fans as well. We have had pretty many fans over the years, and support us, buy our products, and we have the economy to keep on.
Sure. Hell yeah. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh, my final question is I always like to get into the philosophical thing here. And what did you do today that made you feel good?
Spending time with my 12-year-old son. Yeah,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So he's at the right age. Is it introduced into metal more or has he
absolutely.
already been into it and he's just like, "Hey dad, check this out."
Unfortunately, not. I always played, rock and metal music to him, and he really enjoyed that when he was younger. But now, unfortunately is he's watching TikTok and
Sure.
having friends, and I think he probably listened to rap and crap like that.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah, the rap. Yeah, it's nice to know that it's not just in America, that it's everywhere.
yeah,
That like, it is a big genre. It is a huge genre. And it's wild to see how that spreads. That most it's wild to see top 40 stuff like that. That's in like the rap, hip hop, R&B, um, pop. I don't get it. That's the part of the
me
business that
neither.
I don't get.
Yeah, I don't get
How
it at all.
that it's just like you would think somebody with an instrument and not a keyboard or a drum machine. It's like how I don't get it.
Everything is fake.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's and I mean, and just getting off of the auto tune vocal, that's the least of it.
Yeah,
That's just the least of it. But like when you get in there, that each individual beat is something that's made and manufactured. I have a friend who does EDM music,
yeah.
but he doesn't download people's packs. He gets in with his synthesizer, pulls the knobs in any direction that he wants, creates the sound, and then writes
That's
from that.
different.
And I wish I could understand music on a level like that.
Yeah.
To where you create sound out other than like, a stringed instrument or a drum or something like that. Because you get the drummers out there that chromatically tune the drums too.
You do. Unfortunately, yes, there
Yeah,
are shortcuts to everything, and for me, it's crap. Really, you have to do it properly if it's going to be credible.
I agree. Dude, Anders, thank you so much for coming to the Metal Forge this week. This
Thank
has
you,
been
Mark.
awesome. I appreciate you. And on our way out today from the new album, what do you want to play?
Oh, it's a difficult question. Probably Three Dead Men. It sums up the album really well, both musical and lyrically.
Hell yeah. And obviously, sit in, guys, because this is a long one. You've got about 8 minutes. This is Three Dead Men. All right.
Souls are rolling. down with its living gravity. One last fall, and then fall every winter. One last fall, one last fall. Beginning of the end, from the heavens God sent on their own hand. On their own hand, like a rosary of pain. On their own hand. In my deep furrows of worry, on the hungry eyes of fear, want you to lay down and cry.
For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar.
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit Shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. to distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.